not favored to win, the only team with a perfect record in that span. And of course, the game was not bereft of tush-push drama. It was, after all, the Packers who sponsored the proposal to make the play illegal at the annual meetings last year. Multiple Eagles linemen got away with egregious false starts on 3rd and 1 for their first down of the game on a Jalen Hurts tush-push conversation. I've said it a million times. And I know that the fans in Philadelphia get upset because they feel like they're being singled out. I love the Eagles.
They are.
They're an unbelievably good team. They are so good in so many ways beyond this. The tush-push is an abomination. They cannot officiate it. Dan, everyone is moving early.
You could officiate it. Just throw it. I mean, there's a flag. You just take it out of your pocket and you throw it on the ground.
Greeny,
that's it.
They literally missed the same call with the Packers before that, not on a QB. So it's don't say it's one play. If we have an officiating problem, fix officiating. It has nothing to do with that play in particular. If the guy moves before the snap, call it. Yeah. Whether it's a QB sneak, whether it's tush-push, because the QB sneak ain't going away either. So whatever that is, learn to officiate that play because it's going to look exactly the same. Stop belly aching about the tush-push. Blame it on one. They had the same call and missed it both times.
No, they've established a rule that the Eagles are allowed to do it and no one else is allowed to do it. They called it on the Packers. They don't call it on the Eagles. Yes, they call it on the second time. They can't officiate it. This is the easiest thing in the world. They have video assists now, right? Like referees change calls in 15 seconds because someone in New York calls them up and says, no, they all moved early there. Bring that one back and then do it and just call it. How are they not doing that?
Really not supposed to do that.
Yeah, you don't say that out loud. Yeah.
But put it in for this reason, if nothing else. It's so blatantly obvious.
22 of the 32 teams voted to eliminate the play last spring.
I'd like a word with the other 10.
You only need two more. And honestly, I think there's a pretty good chance.
Y'all going to love that inside zone play that everybody gets stuffed on. Good luck for that.
I love that the two DBs on the table are sitting there like, yeah. I would have never been involved in that play. So,
something's gone terribly wrong in my life if I'm in something like that.
Crease down and come off the edge.
Something up.
That ain't my business. That down there ain't my business.
I'm going to help you up.
Then let's talk about something else. The Eagles offense. So we spent the beginning of this show, if you're just joining us, talking about the Packers offense. Summation of that conversation, not so good. Eagles offense, also not as good as it should be. The group seems it is lesser than the sum of its parts. It's effective. Right. They win all the time. Kind of hard to argue. But you got A.J. Brown, when they throw him that ball on that ridiculous 4th down call at the end of the game, for one brief moment you think to yourself, oh, yeah, he's on this team.
Right?
Like you've forgotten he was even on the field, Dan.
Man had to put his book down to go run this route. Look, I mean, it's awesome that the Eagles know how to find a way to do enough to win every game. You're allowed to do more than just enough. Like, you can do that. You can go out and light it up like they did in the Super Bowl. Like, there's something missing with this offense this year that they were able to get to last year, even while they were having their struggles, and they just don't seem to be able to get to it reliably this year.
I mean, the something is the explosive runs from Saquon. And
right.
Like, that was it wasn't that they're calling these games differently or more aggressively or less aggressively than they did last year. Like, right now they're calling a good amount of runs to Saquon. Yeah. He's just getting 3 and 4 rather than 60. And so, like, I don't like that they approach these games as if they're the underdog all the time. Like, as if they don't have weapons. I wish they were more aggressive, but they call these games in a way that's like, all right, we're not going to give it to you. We're not going to give you a chance or our mistakes to cause us to lose. We're going to be patient, and if we have to throw it, we're going to throw it.
All right, so let me put this in perspective. The Eagles' offense could be more explosive, no doubt. I would like to see a little more of A.J. one-on-one. Let's find a way to get him quick slant, quick game, whatever you want to say. However, I understand that part. However, let's not forget, winning is the main point of what we do. And offensively, they've scored 30 3 times. They scored 20 a couple. They scored 10. That's all they needed last night with the way their defense played. So they beat They beat the Rams. They beat the Chiefs. They beat the Packers last night. They beat the Vikings. Like, they've beaten everybody you want them to beat, and they find ways to win. So we can say it's not sexy, it's not as exciting, it's not whatever. But the bottom line is they find ways to win, and they continue to do that each week.
That's indisputable, right?
Yeah.
So that is actually an argument no one can counter.
Yeah.
Because ultimately winning is the objective and they're winning.
Right.
So no one is saying it's contrary to that. But I would like to sort of flip it back to something you said at the very beginning. Do they coach like they don't trust their own quarterback?
To a certain extent, I feel like you go into a week, and you guys know this when you're game planning, and as a coaching staff, you develop a plan that you feel like for this week is going to help you win this football game. It seems as though from week to week with the Eagles, they go into games with different plans in a sense when it comes specifically to Jalen Hurts and his ability to throw the ball. They're playing the Minnesota Vikings, who on the defense attacks you, and they force you to have to get the ball down the field. That game, the Eagles came out, and Jalen Hurts had one hell of a game throwing the ball to his receiver. It looked like last night the plan was we're going to line up, we're going to bring 6 offensive linemen, we're going to run the ball. So, Greeny, specifically to your question, is it a Jalen Hurts trust thing or is it more of a game plan thing? I don't know for sure, but it's hard to figure out because last night it looked like they didn't want him to take chances.
It's the best point. And let me explain this. When Jim Moore was my first head coach in Indy, and they ended up bringing Tony Dungy over, and Tony sat with our offense and talked about, hey, there are going to be certain games we're going to frustrate you because we're not going to do certain things that we've done that has hurt this team in the past. It's okay to punt sometimes. It's okay to play conservative-style football at times. And you learn, and as an offense, I understand it is fun to air it out and do it, but with risk also comes a lot of bad things and adverse things happening. If you can win without it, and last night, let me just tell you, there were 3 or 4 runs that Saquon, that could have been 60-yard gains. They were very close. If they find that explosiveness in their game, it's you know, they're going to repeat. So in my opinion, as you look at it, why risk yourself if you don't have to? That's really what you're saying and how really the best teams play.
And that O-line, that's O-line talk 101.
It's real.
Right there.
I mean, I think the answer to your question, though, is that you won't always get the breaks. And if you do not have experience taking these chances, when you're going to need to take those chances, it's going to be a lot harder. I think I respect the game plan point, and they have been effective in this. It's really impossible to push back on the results that they've had. It doesn't look like how we like it, but you see that they're very sensitive to game script. Like the plays, as soon as they got that play from Saquon, we're going up top. This is our chance. Like you can tell that it's a well-coached team. It's not coached in a way that all of us like, but they're well coached.
A.J. Brown had 3 targets last night, 2 receptions, 13 yards.
That ain't it.
I mean, he's just so good. You know?
I get it.
A screen or 2 early on in the game just to get him going would be nice.
Right? Like in Chicago, the first pass goes to Odunze because he didn't catch one last week.
Right.
That's good coaching, too.
They seem not to want to do that. Look, no one can take away from them this entire. If I'm an Eagles fan, here's what I'm frustrated about. We just won a huge road game on Monday Night Football, and these dopes on Get Up just spent 8 minutes complaining about the tush push and that we don't throw the ball enough to our receivers.
Yeah.
I get it.
I get it, too.
The team is great.
Give them a single.
And they're the defending Super Bowl champs, and they may very well win the whole thing again. But these things are impossible not to notice.
We judge them on a different scale than we do other teams. They won the Super Bowl. Like, we would expect that to happen again, or at least for it to come close. So, they don't. Right now, the offense does not look like one that's
Eagles fans, they don't want to hear us saying these bad things.
Yeah, but they're saying
the same damn thing. You know any Eagles fans?
On the streets in New York, they say it. They'd be like, I like your fight, but we're going to get better? We're going to get better?
I get a lot of questions about what's wrong with our offense.
I'm going to apologize just a little bit. I got to be out there.
Let me get a quick note in on the Packers side of it again. Their loss officially opens up the NFC North for any team to win. When they obliterated the Lions opening weekend, I think we all thought, wow,
Round them.
the Packers are never going to be stopped. Look at this now. They're looking up at the Bears in the division. Wow. And they are, it's worth noting, they've only played one of their divisional games, the Packers. That game against the Lions is the only division game they've played. So they still have 5 games against all these teams. We opened the show with Micah Parsons saying, all will be well. When push comes to shove, who's going to win that division?
I'm going Lions.
Yeah, Lions.
I'm going Lions.
I'm going to stick with the Packers. That was my preseason pick. I'm going to stick with it.
I'm with you.
Thank you.
Really? Packers. That's my preseason.
Because their defense?
Oh, you guys must not have heard Dan Campbell took over play calling.
Yes, he did.
Yes, you must.
They did good.
You must have forgot.
So Angry Pete from New Jersey, our coordinating producer extraordinaire, brought up that question yesterday. Did we not talk about that enough? How big a deal is it that Dan Campbell took over the play calling in Detroit?
Well, I mean, I think it might be unfair because they went up against Washington, which is not a particularly great offense. But to be fair with what Dan Campbell did, we criticized them the week prior in that loss of not getting the ball to Gibbs and J-Mo specifically. Yeah. Dan Campbell showed up with a play sheet that had names on it, not plays. And he was like, this side and that side. Yeah, we're going to get it to these guys, and they're going to make plays in isolation.
Can I say, this to me was one of the best coaching conversations that I have heard in my time covering football. When they asked Dan Campbell about this, he talked about Ben Johnson and this happening to Ben Johnson and the way that he talked. I want it a certain way. If you're the head coach, it's your team. I want it done a certain way. And if you do it my way, we're good. You'll continue to make calls. You'll continue to do it. Let me show you what I'm trying to get done. Follow me, watch me, and then replicate what I do. If we lose, I'll live with it. But I'm not going to lose your way. And I appreciate that because the truth is he didn't cut John Morton the way he could. He said, listen, he'll be back calling plays again, but we're going to walk this thing together. I thought from true leadership, we always talk about it, that was true leadership as a coach from Dan Campbell.
Can I just say quickly, you talked about Dan Campbell taking over the play calling and them going out there balling. Well, the result of that game is now Dan Quinn for the Commanders is taking over play calling their defense. So it just goes to show you, yes, positive on that side, but Nick, when you said it, going against the Commanders defense, it's like,
they're struggling, man.
We'll talk more about that division as we go. Interesting questions about Chicago. Interesting questions.